Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou are set to fight each other on March 8th, but Dana White has been brutally honest on his thoughts about the fight. Tony Bellew believes that this will be a fairly easy fight for Anthony Joshua, and he stated, "I'm going with AJ, and I'm expecting him to do it in a brutal manner too." Fury and Joshua are fighters with different approaches, and if Joshua goes into this fully prepared and focused, then he'll win easily. Ngannou proved a lot of people wrong against Fury, but this is a different fight, and I'm expecting Joshua to flatten him in about 1 or 2 rounds. David Price definitely thinks that Anthony will win, and he doesn't think that he'll lose after seeing how Tyson Fury lost a bit of credibility after his fight with Francis. David stated, "I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. I think he would. Styles make fights. He has the benefit of having seen Ngannou in the ring with Tyson Fury, so knows what to expect, and knows how to take it seriously, so knows what the upside would be of knocking him out. Tyson Fury had everything to lose and nothing to gain last night, and he did lose everything in a way." Even though Francis isn't underestimating Anthony Joshua, he's already got big plans for what he plans to do next, and Francis stated, "I'm not looking for the winner of Tyson Fury and Usyk. I'm looking for Tyson. Tyson owes me a fight. I don't give a shit about the winner of Usyk and Tyson. I'm coming after Tyson. Win or lose, I want Tyson. I'm going in against a former champion, against a guy who's been in the game for so long, winning and all this stuff. I think he's 30 and something and I'm 0-1. Come on, man. How do you make me a favorite?" Dan Raphael thinks that this is a much more entertaining fight than the Tyson Fury one.
Approach it differently?
Well, I think this is the benefit in AJ going second. There isn't the surprise factor around Ngannou. Of course, you have to expect him to have made improvements, but the big surprise was how he was going to look the first time. AJ knows that now. The other thing as well, AJ's not going to show up halfway through a training camp, not fully prepared. He's going to give Ngannou all the respect he deserves. So I expect a very supremely conditioned Anthony Joshua that's quite cautious. He's going to be working behind his lead hand, and he's going to be keeping that rear hand super tight to his chin. And I don't think he's going to step outside of himself too much until he really feels like he's got a good read on Ngannou.
And he sees AJ having a slight advantage since he got to see what Francis can do. Even though AJ and his team seem confident about the upcoming fight, KD has explained Anthony's coaching choice, and he stated, "I don't believe he will. We've had such a quick turnaround off the success of the last one against Otto Wallen. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to roll straight back into training camp. I feel like Derek is an experienced trainer, and he's not new to the sport. He understands how the situation is, so there won't be any ill feelings toward anyone. The show has to go on. Yeah, it's boxing, it's sport, so I don't think you have to take things personally. I think that with every aspect, whether it's a fighter leaving a coach or doing his camp somewhere else, you kind of always have to do what's best for yourself." Adam Smith knows that this fight is a big risk for Anthony at this point in his career, but he also thinks that it will give him bigger opportunities later this year.
With this sort of reconnaissance, the rebuilding under Ben Davidson, I think he's found a good trainer there in Ben, and I think there's going to be a big year ahead for AJ. But he's got to get past Ngannou, and Ngannou brings all the power, as we know. He had Tyson in trouble. He had Tyson in trouble from start to finish, and it's a very, very interesting matchup.
Does it show how crazy one fight can turn the tide in a way? Because when you look at Ngannou pre-Fury, many people said he wouldn't win a Southern Area title, crazy things like this, and then now he's fighting Anthony Joshua. Does it show after one performance, when in a fight he didn't even win, the tide can turn so much?
Yeah, it was a fight that many people thought he did win, or it was certainly very, very close. And yeah, he's a huge attraction because of what he did in the other world, in his world, and because he's such a huge guy and he brings so much excitement and power to the ring. People are going to want to watch, and that's what it's about. It's about entertainment. Would we have rather seen AJ Wilder? Of course, as a boxing fan, yes, but Wilder messed it up. Joe Parker performed out of his skin on December 23rd, and that's by the wayside for the moment. So Turkey's come in and he's produced a monster attraction in its place, and we're all going to be watching.
Barry Jones doesn't think that this fight will be as easy as Francis' fight against Tyson Fury, though.
Fury.
Well, on paper it is, because you know where he's going to be. With Fury, you're not quite sure where he is. But I think he's going to find it harder. This is going to sound crazy because Joshua's going to be in front of you, more or less. But I think he's going to find it harder to hit the target than he did against Fury. with Fury being his erratic style, which what makes him so good, but also gives you an opportunity to hit him at times. And when he's on form, when he's sharp, he invites you to hit him. Or the Fury used to be more negative before he started pushing forward. He invites you to hit him, makes you miss, makes you pay. But he got it wrong. He was doing that, and with Ngannou just kept throwing. Most boxers, when they throw and they miss, they don't throw another one. Ngannou just carried on, and I think that's what gave him the success against Fury. With Joshua, he's gonna have someone in front of him, but someone who keeps his hands up high, keeps his elbows tucked in tight. So he's gonna have someone there, but he's not gonna see a massive clear target. He's going to have to punch through the guard. And that might just make him a little bit more tentative, trying to get him more accurate with the punches, which is what you should do. But when you have to think more, which he might adapt to it quite well, but I'm just saying, when you have to think more, that can sometimes slow you down. That's what Joshua's had that problem recently, with overthinking stuff and taking away his acceleration of pacing his punches. So if he can... I think it's going to be a harder night for him. Most definitely, I do.
Michael Bisping definitely had to give Anthony credit for taking this fight, though, and Michael stated, AJ does deserve a lot of respect here. He has no need to box Francis Ngannou, doesn't really gain anything with a win other than solidifying another victory, then being 4-0 in his last 4, and probably will get the winner of Usyk versus Tyson Fury. But he probably would have got that anyway. I think this is happening because Deontay Wilder was probably the guy in the mix. They thought he would beat Joseph Parker, and he didn't. I think for Francis Ngannou, it's great. For him, there's been a lot of questions answered. Can he compete with these boxers? Can he even land a glove? Can he take a shot from these guys? Does he have the stamina to go 10, 12 rounds? Does he have the ability to maintain power throughout that kind of period as well? Coming from the Francis team, Dewey Cooper definitely thinks that this fight against Anthony Joshua will be more even and competitive than the one against Tyson Fury was. Dewey stated, he's a very good fighter, fundamentally sound, strong, big, athletic, good footwork when he wants to. He's going to be a real challenge because the Tyson Fury fight was all about skill. It was about being cerebral because Tyson has so many different styles. He fights in 3, 4 different styles. This fight is mano a mano, fire versus fire. The Tyson Fury fight was water versus fire. Tyson was water. He can drown you, he can splash on you, he can crash on you, he can just wear you down, all these different things. Joshua brings the same tools that Francis brings. Of course, Joshua's pedigree is very high. He's an Olympic gold medalist, for crying out loud. Not everyone is a fan of the fight though, and Lennox Lewis thinks that the fight is nothing more than an entertaining spectacle. Lennox stated, Ngannou's fight with Tyson Fury was a spectacle. This fight with AJ is also a spectacle. Hats off to Ngannou for making the most of his opportunities. He's done nothing wrong. This is just the heavyweight division in the year 2024. In my opinion, this fight adds zero credibility to AJ's resume. He's supposed to win this fight, and when he does, what does he gain or learn by beating Ngannou in his second heavyweight fight? If he loses, then it's an absolute disaster. The same stood for Fury, and it almost cost him everything. Carl Froch thought that the fight was nothing more than a giant cash grab.
Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou, who would have thought? I mean, my initial thoughts are it's not a bad fight. It's a fight that Anthony Joshua could potentially struggle with. We saw him against Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury struggled. But was that because Ngannou's really good, or was that because Fury didn't quite turn up? He wasn't at the races. I think the latter. So now this fight's going to be acceptable because Ngannou did so well against Fury. But let's be honest, this is a cash grab out in Saudi Arabia, and I don't think it's good for heavyweight boxing.
Simon Jordan thinks that it's sad that this is what it takes to generate interest in the sport now, and Simon stated, I have the same disdain for the fight. I understand the genesis for it. I understand the reasons why. This is what Saudi Arabia wants. If Saudi is going to be the new financial capital of boxing, then this is what it looks like. They think that MMA fighters that have had one fight and been ridiculously ranked as number 10 in the WBC rankings is now a viable way for boxing to generate interest. I think it's sad. I understand why Anthony Joshua is taking the fight. I understand why Tyson Fury took the fight, because the economics are so significant that you take these fights. As for Dana White, he clearly is not a fan of the fight, and he doesn't understand why people are excited about it.
This is a fight for him that I'm assuming would probably, if you lose, I don't know. Maybe you see the window closing.
Value is about being in massive fights that people care about. Fights that when you make a fight and you announce it, there's this buzz about the fight and everybody's going crazy. All these people are morons and have no idea what they're talking about. I actually run the biggest combat sports business on planet Earth.
I don't want to talk about the fight. Neither guy is my guy. There's just no need for me to comment on it or whatever.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.